Hello and welcome to another AIC video. Today I'm going to be doing a quick video on some carry pistols. So, been a member of my channel for any length of time at all, you know that I have guns and I carry guns. My wife, however, while she does like guns, and in fact these are actually her guns, doesn't actually carry a gun regularly, and she wanted to change that, and she wanted something a little bit more concealable and something you can carry. This is a 1960 Smith & Wesson 10-5. It is an excellent handgun. Love this gun. It is not something that you're going to want to try to conceal carry. It's very heavy. It's quite long. 38 special is not the best round. I mean, it's fine. It's a fine round, but it's not necessarily what you would pick for a carry gun. This is a Smith & Wesson 5906, and it is also an excellent gun. It is chambered in 9mm. The problem with it, though, is it is quite a hefty boy. It is a very thick pistol. It is a double stack magazine, and so you are not going to be fitting this in a concealed carry too well, especially if you are a small, petite woman like my wife. A couple other considerations we had for carrying. I grabbed a couple of rounds here. So put these kind of in order here. So this is 10mm. This is a 45 ACP. This is 9mm. This is 380 ACP, and this is a 22. Obviously, 22 is a nice light round, easy to fire, easy to shoot. My wife loves shooting 22. However, it's not necessarily what you want to carry as your main carry gun if your life depends on it. 10mm and 45, my wife has shot these, and she does not like firing my guns. Despite them being 1911s, my 10mm is a 6-inch long slide, and my 45 is just a standard 5-inch 1911. Nice big heavy guns, but she does not like firing these. They're far too powerful for her. So that gives us kind of the two. I'd almost consider these the main carry ammo for most people. We have 9mm and we have 380 ACP. Now my wife has shot 9mm and she finds it to be just a bit much for her. Now part of that probably is due to the fact that she just doesn't shoot it all that often and isn't that familiar or comfortable with it. But she was willing to try out a 380 ACP, a little bit less powerful of a round, a little bit lighter of a round. And so that is what we went with. It also meant possibly a slightly smaller firearm for her for this ammo. Now on the table here before you, you see the three options that we kind of were choosing in between here. So on the leftmost we have a Smith & Wesson M&P 380 Shield EZ. We have a Walther PK380 with a laser sight, or laser, I guess it's the sight. And then we have a Rock Island Baby Rock, chambered in 380 ACP. Now, a couple reasons why we picked these. First and foremost, my wife does like the grip of the 1911. It is comfortable to her, so we wanted to give this a go. She liked the feel of the Walther in her hand. We do have a Walther P22, so this grip is very familiar and very comfortable to her. And before she shot them, this was kind of the gun she was leaning to for her choice. The Smith & Wesson M&P 380 Shield 2.0 EZ. That's a long name for this gun. She liked this one because it's in the name. It is easy. It's easy for her to rack. It is easy for her to chamber, eject. Everything about this, load the magazine, all that is nice and easy on this gun for her, and she really liked that about it. So we went ahead and bought them. And initial impressions, the Baby Rock is a hard no for her. Several reasons. It is next to impossible. Now I've cleared all of these already, but it is next to impossible for her to rack the slide. And I will admit, it is hard for me. Now I do have a few rounds through this now, and so it's easier than it was when we first got it. But even my 10mm, my 45, every gun I own is easier to rack the slide than this. It is surprisingly tough. Next on the Walther, she did like this gun, like I said before, just holding it in the store. She really liked the grip on it. The laser we didn't actually know came with it until after we bought it. They went to put it in the box, and there was the laser in the box with the gun, so that got included as part of the purchase. This was the most expensive one out of the three by a fair bit, by I want to say almost $70. That was $430 total out the door. This was just at $500 out the door, and that was right at $400, and that's taxes, shipping, all that jazz. So total price is not just, you know, the initial price. But in firing this gun, she found it just a little bit harder to rack the sight. It's still pretty easy. I'll go ahead and drop the mag here. I mean, it's still a pretty easy rack. The one thing that she didn't like about it is if you rack the slide, like if you have a round chambered, there's no slide release. So you either have to drop the mag and pull the slide, or you have to have a round in the magazine, and then when you pull it. So yeah, that's one thing that she didn't like about this, is she wished it had a slide release. That's just how she's trained and what she's familiar with. So that would have been a nice feature to add to this. It almost looks like here that there's a spot on the slide for one. It's just not included on the firearm. As far as the M&P shield, again, it is so much smoother and easier to rack the slide, because it has these kind of ears on the follower. It's easier to load. She doesn't like the grip as much. She's not as confident with the grip, but she does like the sights with the white dots on there. The 380 also has the white dots, but she kind of liked the sights on the M&P better, and of course the Rock Island just has straight up black sights there. Now, when I took her shooting, we went to our very first indoor shooting range experience. It was 113 that day. There was no way we were going to the outside range. And we both did absolutely terrible in sighting in the firearms. I was shooting about 6 inches low. Didn't matter what I did. So we are going to go back out to our normal range that we're more familiar with, that is outdoors with more light. In fact, the indoor range was so hot, I think I would have been more comfortable at the outdoor range, because it would have been at least outside versus being in a very stuffy, uncomfortable, hot environment. So we're definitely going to take these out and go shooting again. So far, she's really split between these two. So she definitely wants to take them shooting again. She has about 150 rounds total between the two, about 75 rounds-ish each. And then about another, she only got about 14 rounds through this, and she's like, I'm done. I don't want to fire this again, because even the trigger, which on a 1911 is supposed to be nice and crisp and clean, is just, it's like, that is not fun. This is not a fun gun, and maybe it'll be better after we put 200 or 300 rounds through it. But when you have something like this, that again, nice, clean. You have a little bit of take up, and then it's much cleaner, and it is a double action. On the EZ, it'll get a little bit of take up, and then this has a much better trigger than that. It's like not even a contest, just like, oh god, grip the grip. Sorry, I'm doing this around the camera, so it's a little bit harder. But this has a nice clean break, easy, soft trigger pull. This, on the other hand, first of all, drop the mag. Oh, jeez. And then, like I'm putting, you can see like the pressure on my fingers turning white. It's actually leaving lines on my finger with how hard I'm having to push the trigger. I don't have one of those fancy things to measure that trigger pull, but it is redonkulously heavy, especially for a 1911. I've had heavier triggers. That is ridiculous for a 1911. So, anyways, these two she's still very torn on. Wants some more time with them before she makes a final decision. She's not sure if she'll keep the laser or not. It's not sighted in at all, which is something we're going to have to do. She has some things she prefers about this over the PK380, but she loves the grip on the PK380. that one's completely out of the question. So if you have any thoughts, comments, questions, leave those down in the comment section down below. Do my best to answer. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day.